What moves me is not what I have already achieved from life. This is just a starting point. What you have already achieved in your life to this day is just a starting point. What moves you, this is what makes you wake up every day and run after. But it would be great if we started to realize that a time in life comes when it is not enough to run after what material is needed to run after dreams of realities that go beyond the matter, because you will come to a conclusion that that carbonito is not enough. That beautiful house is not enough. That beautiful house is not enough. That beautiful house is not enough. That wonderful apartment is not enough. Is here in the context of the absences, shouting for the need to have a white house. I wish I had in my life simply a place of green bush to plant and to harvest, have a white balcony house, a backyard and a window, just to see the sun rise. The project here is not a very grand thing. What ties this human being to life is just a white house. Interesting, this metaphor. It is the meaning of a well-lived life. Here, in the chorus of this song, it is the result of a well-lived life. Once I have faced all the difficulties of the stanza, I have the right to find in this world a place where I can feel cozy. Yesterday, when I was back from Camp Inaugurate for João Pessoa for me to take the flight, observing those small towns along the way, those typical little houses of Paraíba there in the northeast, from the backlands, those simplest regions of the country, all very colorful small houses, but that makes you want to enter and to stay. They are specialists in cozy. I was thinking a lot about it. Sometimes we want so much to live. And suddenly a house like that with all this color on the outside, full of feeling inside, with people who love each other, and life is ready. Then I started thinking like this. Where do I warn myself? What reality in this life makes me feel comfortable? Where do we fit? What are the spaces that really accommodate us, snuggle us? When we will decorate our house, as simple as it is, something else you don't want, but to create a space where you feel cozy. The fourth, it can be the most beautiful room in the world. If it doesn't have the portrait of your soul, you don't snuggate into it. This is why the good architect is one who knows how to read the client's soul. Of course, he takes the scales, the customer's excesses, but puts him in a place that snuggles him. My house needs to have the aspects of my soul. And I asked me yesterday, where do I warn myself? Then I remembered not only from physical structures, because the house is not just a cluster of walls. The house, it is also a feeling. When I enter a place, immediately I feel if it causes me something good or something bad. The walls have soul, yes? Of course, not the soul that I am used to treating. I, as a priest, read with the soul all the time. I am talking about what goes beyond matter, what transcends physical reality. A house is built from feelings and bricks. The house is also a feeling. When I go back to my house and it's that good feeling. When I open the door, when I enter, and find my reality, my warmth. So I understand that the house is feeling. Our spiritual life, my people, is in the service of creating this warmth. Because only in warmth do you face your discomfort well. If a person is not well, warm, affectionate, they will have a hard time dealing with the discomforts of the soul. Because these discomfort, they will always exist. There is no possibility of having a human person without identifying in her the discomfort that makes her stay alive. Create. Remove from you this illusion that is what you have to support you. No. What you have achieved in your life to this day is just the starting point. What moves him is what is still absent. Because I say that what feeds us is not what we have. What moves us is not what we have. Because what takes a human being ahead is the desire. Desire in the deepest sense. The vital elan that keeps us stuck to life. That meaning without which we can't get up in the morning to work. We all have this vital elan. That as it is being worn out and is not renewed by us, aided by the grace of God, the presence of friends, those who love us, are these situations that are renewing our elan with the life. Are sowing with life. We are sown with life. If we do not renew this, we get depressed. We lose our desire to live, lacking meaning, right? Look at your absences. Look at what you don't have. You have had the opportunity to have so much in your life. You may have already been very successful, you may have had a lot of money, you may have already built a lot of materially speaking. Dare to look at what is not material now. Look around and see for yourself. Answer this question. Although they are in parts, even if they are not whole, what snuggles you in this life? What makes you have the feeling of being in the right place? What is the place where your soul rests quietly? Where you are able to manage what is absent you and keep a smile on your face? Because this is the big project, knowing that everything we have already achieved is almost nothing close to what we still need. Love never it will be perfect because it is an unfinished gesture. As much as I try with my attitude, with my posture, with my word, love those I love, my gesture will always be imperfect. But that's why it's beautiful, because it is missing. In it, something is still absent. God's mystery in our lives is like this, my people. It is us to be able to look at the sad stanzas, to observe the happy chorus and realize that what will really do is not the moment the answers will come. Not the time when we are satisfied with life. No, the time when we are satisfied with life. What will accomplish us is this eternal dissatisfaction that keeps us harmonious. I'm going well. I'm doing well. Despite all of the difficulties, I'm going well. Because I'm projecting the construction of a White House where I can feel cozy. Only the sages are capable of this feat. Because sometimes we understand everything, but did not capture the enchantment of what you understood. The life of us is the same thing. So many times you don't understand what is going on. So many times you look at your heart, and he is a cluster of contradictory feelings, things that are even unknown to him. But why not recognize this beauty in all this? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Every human process is always beautiful. Even if we have weaknesses, we are exposed in an indigence that shames us. Is beautiful. Life is always beautiful. Because there is an absence, the gesture is unfinished. It does not end. Is equal to art. You will never be able to find an artist satisfied with the work produced. You may be satisfied with what the artist produced, but he is no longer. Because if he has satisfied him to that work, what keeps him is not what he has already achieved from his possibilities. What keeps him alive, what keeps him artist, is what he has not yet been able to achieve from his creative process. The gesture is always unfinished. That expression of St. John of the Cross. What I know of God are the footsteps of his absence. Isn't that beautiful? Write it down. Record in your heart. What I know of God are the footsteps of your absence. It seems contradictory. What I know of God is what is absent from him. It is what in the interval between what I have already known and what I do not yet know, and prevails a mystery in this interval. It is this mystery that leads me to God, because if I based on what I already know about him, I would accommodate myself here, where I am man. I wouldn't make a next program. No. Looking at all that is absent, all that hurts me, I discover my alien with life. It is in this holy curiosity that I position myself as a man of faith. Viktor Frankl, a psychotherapist, who wrote a beautiful work on the meaning of life, he said that a human being, when he loses reasons for life, he stops fighting. And he experienced his thesis in the concentration camp. Before writing the thesis, he lived. He noted in the Nazi concentration camp that friends who had no family members to return, who already knew they were dead, they surrendered to the process of slavery without any hope. And he doesn't. He wanted to remain alive, even without knowing if there was someone waiting for him. What he does, put a little plant in the window and set a bond with I need to live so that this little plant doesn't die. And so he created the psychology of the meaning of life, when he says that when we are connected to one reason, we do not die. Then you will be able to go through all the quarries of life, all the pyramberas of life, all the slopes and the most difficult climbs, and you will not be discouraged, because you have a reason. You have a meaning to remain alive. What moves me is faith. It is the territory in which I put my foot, and God mysteriously puts the ground. I have no ground to step. I just have my foot to put there. And it is mysteriously that God puts a floor over my feet. This is faith. When you, at the time of your pain, when life was heavy and you couldn't walk alone, you dare to put your foot. God put the floor. This is faith. It is the opportunity we have to live boldly, because this is bold, my people, and not a religious boldness. See? This is a human boldness. Psychology proposes the same thing that religions propose. In fact, psychology has learned to us that those who do not dare to investigate the mysteries of the heart will never be able to live the contemplation that this is possible. That's when I contemplate myself and I get ecstatic at what I find. I don't understand almost anything, but I'm ecstatic. And that's the challenge. You look at what is absent you, what you don't have yet, and don't realize in that a frustration, but to realize that a motivation, a desire that takes you forward. As St. John said, what we know of God are the footsteps of his absence. It is what is absent today, which you do not have yet, which makes you want to wake up tomorrow and continue this Christmas that never has an end. From all of us at Path of Faith, thank you for being part of today's discussion. We value your input, so please share your thoughts in the comments. Show your support with a like, spread the message by sharing, and subscribe to stay connected with us on our journey of faith.